Of course, now the power stays on the whole time. This is what an audio-only voiceover would have sounded like had I been able to complete it using my Yeti microphone, which does not adapt to my camera. Well, hello Glue Troopers. This is my third attempt to record this. The first two I was on the computer, but we were having thunderstorms and the power would go out right in the middle of what I was doing. So I decided, okay, I'll use the camera, so at least if the power goes out and the lights flicker, we can keep recording. So, really cool day today. I was flying with a super cool captain who, former military pilot, and he said that one of the things that made him become a military, that inspired him to become a military pilot, was building World War II model airplanes as a kid. So we had plenty to talk about. And then he asked a question that maybe he wished he hadn't. He goes, you know, I wonder whatever happened to those old companies like Revell, Aurora, and Monogram. Well, I had a good time. I kept it pretty short, as brief as I could. I have to send him a link to my videos in case he wants to see them. But it was a good trip, a great guy to chat with, and he happened to mention that he just come off vacation recently. He was down in Hawaii, and he did all the Pearl Harbor museums, including visiting the USS Arizona. And it was a pretty impactful experience, and we started talking about the Arizona and the models and everything, and now I have to acquire and build a model of the Arizona. Well, one must do what one must do. I was thinking about the Revell kit and the great styrene river, always, you know, sending you with the currents that you need to be on, as the fates would have it. After we got back, I had lunch in Daytona with Bruce, the Mystic Modeler ships. And Bruce has built the Arizona model. He highly recommended the Revell kit, which is the one I was thinking about getting. So I think Ian may have one up at Hurricane Hobbies. I'd rather get it there, even if I can get a nice discount at Hobby Lobby. I like to support the local hobby shop. And if he doesn't have one, I'm sure he can order me one, because it'll be a while before I get to it. But so now it looks like I have committed myself to build a model of the Arizona. And one of the things that he talked about, he showed me some pictures he took of the magnificent models that were on display, not only of the Japanese aircraft carriers Arizona, but also the Arizona as it is underwater now. Very impressive stuff. These are stock photos off the internet, but same models. So again, the great styrene river has come around, you know, to help us out in making our choices in the models we want to make. Well, I decided to bring Bruce a gift. He said he never built a tank and he wanted a challenge, so I got him that. I brought him that 1/72nd scale Edgeley Optica, the EA7, that had been gifted to me by Glue Trooper. I'm sure won't mind that I'm, you know, paying it forward to another great modeler, and well, to a great modeler. By saying another great modeler would imply I think I'm a great modeler, and I am not, but that's a discussion for another time. So, and he'd never built a tank, so I had actually bought this M41 from Tamiya a long time ago. I don't know when I was going to get to it, so I thought, hey, that'd be a great gift. Well, as the fates would have it, he brought me a gift also. It was the Revell M-34 truck and Willis MB Jeep combo. Well, that's cool. Oh, that's great. You know, thanks. And since I'm doing this 135 armor, that will all go great with it. And then when I got home, I started thinking about the kit. So let me go to the place, you know, all modelers go when they want information. First stop, Scalemates. And I looked in there and saw that it was a Revell kit, but it's actually the old Monogram kits. And I kind of suspect that when I got on there, it was a huge screen. You couldn't even have it up all at one time. And I started snooping around. Wait a minute. I don't need Scalemates. I built the Willis MB Jeep, the Monogram one, and the Monogram M-34 truck countless times as a kid. I can just look at the parts and tell if it's the old Monogram kits, and it is. They are. As soon as I saw the parts, I was like, oh yeah, because they don't put engines or anything in them. I reckon I had the side panels I had to put on, everything. I was like, yep. I built that Jeep so many times I could do it by braille. And I did the truck at least 2 or 3 times. Now, I remember getting the Jeep, which the truck originally came out, I think, in the late 50s. and the Jeep I think came out in the early 60s. And by the time I got them, I think I did get the Jeep one time with the box art on it, probably a mid to late 70s one, and then again in the white box a couple of times. And I had the truck in the white box also, even though it had been in various boxes before that. And man, it was like going down memory road looking at all those parts. Now they used to, as I recall, I think they used to inject them in sort of an OD green. These are gray, so but that's okay. I'm gonna have to paint them anyway. When I was a kid, I usually didn't paint them because they came in green. I just glued them together and let the put the decals on them and just let the glue smears shine as battle damage. Beauty of military ground vehicles. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to getting on these just for nostalgia's sake. This is going to be a nostalgia build. And, I remember seeing the rubber tires and the one piece of plastic that you had cut to make the windshields out of and all that stuff. And it was like, oh man, it's like old times. And one thing I will say is, although they're actually, I don't know if I want to use the word tricky, because remember, they're older molds. The fit's not quite what you expect from a model kit. This isn't a Tamiya kit. And it takes a little finesse, a little fitting to get this in there, even though they don't have an engine or anything, which is fine. Most military, unless you're a dioramist, most people who build military vehicles don't drop the engines in them because, unlike a hot rod or a muscle car, the engine's not really what it's there for. So the fact that these come sans engines, not a problem at all. Also, they had the exact same infantry figure supporting they had back then. The guy with the rifle, the guy on the radio, the works. It was so cool just to see that old stuff. Bruce, thank you. When he first gave it to me, I didn't realize that was the kit they wore. I thought maybe Revell had gone and gotten Italeri or someone, to pop their kit, which is more detailed. I mean, these companies are all borrowing each other's molds and everything. It gets so confusing after a while. And anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and that was just wonderful. I'm gonna take that out to the Tarbis as soon as I'm not worried about getting hit by lightning going out there. And I'm also going to move a couple other things out there. I've only got a few days off. I want to really get cracking on this Tiger right now. Get the tracks finished, start getting it painted up and getting pieces put together. Well, obviously Max getting pieces put together. We're building models. Blonde moment. And now for a blonde processing moment. That's called blonde brain lock, or blonde lock. Well, that's all I got for tonight, guys. Once again, thanks. A big shout out to Bruce for the gift. I appreciate it. You guys take care of yourselves. We'll see everybody later. And as always, model on.